Yeah, it's what's best for the country. That's what I care about. And look, let me just add, if Trump wins, last time when he won, he asked me to help on healthcare, on PPE. I sat with Peter Navarro and helped him come up with a mask company and help them grow. And that was all domestic production. I'll do the same thing. I'm America first.
Mark Cuban really just breaks my brain because you can't really understand him. His logic behind being this gigantic Kamala supporter makes absolutely no sense. And the most hilarious part about it is apparently the Kamala campaign is tasking him to basically be the policy ambassador that's actually going to explain Kamala Harris's agenda for her in the final stages of this election, because apparently she's incapable of doing that herself. Take a listen.
I said, why are you letting Mark Cuban be out here being the face of this? Why aren't you saying it yourself when it is something that matters to so many people?
Because they don't want to alienate other voters. That's the big that's the big issue.
Of course, the big thing out there. And when I said this matters to so many people, someone told me yesterday they would tell you you're crazy if you said that to the campaign, that this matters. The defense is that this isn't something they think is really going to be a moving issue in the last 2 weeks of the campaign. So they don't want to touch it. They don't want to alienate. But that at least
they don't want to alienate the base, but they also don't want to alienate their big donors. And that's the issue they run into.
Exactly. And I guess with 2 weeks left, they'd rather just let Cuban talk about it. Even when Trump's going on the attack, they say we don't want to make it more of a thing by having Harris herself come out and say it. But I agree with you, especially reporting on this campaign, trying to get concrete details out of them has been really difficult.
Yeah, you don't say. Folks, if you're enjoying the content, please do us a big favor by hitting that subscribe button down below. And why should you subscribe? Because doing so goes a long way in ensuring we can keep bringing you these videos. We are now just 14 days away from the election. It has never been a better time to, first of all, show out to vote, but also hit that red subscribe button. How are they related? I don't know. Just do it, okay? It's greatly appreciated. Best way to support the work. But with that said, you may be asking yourself, how is Mark Cuban doing as Kamala Harris's policy ambassador? And to make a long story short, it's been a complete train wreck, okay? He did multiple interviews in the past few days where he goes on TV and tries to defend or explain Kamala Harris's policies, and it's just, he can't do it. He can't do it, which really makes you have to question why exactly he is supporting Kamala in the first place, but we'll get to that when we come to it. First, take a listen to some of the instances of Mark Cuban trying to actually justify his very strange and confusing support for the Harris campaign.
So when it comes to criminalizing and not criminalizing crossing the border, I mean, that is just so stark, but you view that as an evolution.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's my opinion. I'm not speaking for the campaign with this. Yeah. I thought their hearts were too big when Joe came into office, that they didn't know how many people would cross the border, and it got away from them. But they figured it out. They learned. And what did they do? He put together an executive order, and now the number of border crossings is down to where they were under Trump, maybe a little lower. She says she's going to sign the border bill, which is very clear where she stands now. But let me tell you, Aaron, the most important thing that has not been discussed, Donald Trump and Kamala both have said when it comes to illegals that are in the country that have violated the law, they're criminals, they're going to deport them. Donald Trump hasn't said what he's going to do to deport anybody else.
Their hearts were too big. That is Mark Cuban's excuse for the entire immigration issue. It's not that they're just bad at leadership or they intentionally were trying to allow a bunch of illegals into this country. No, their hearts were too big. You know, they allowed an open border for basically their entire presidency, but they were just being compassionate. Can you really blame them? Oop, 10 million illegals in the country. Oopsie, you know, we're just so silly. I don't even understand that. I don't understand that logic. And, you know, it really makes me question, all right? I don't know Mark Cuban's motives, to be clear, and it's kind of hard to speculate on why someone is really doing something. But every time I look at him, I'm just going to be honest, this is how I feel. Okay, I'm not, saying this as a matter of fact. You are free to your own opinion. But to me, the whole thing seems very insincere. Right? I think the real reason Cuban is behind and being so public for Kamala Harris is either one of two things. It's either because, firstly, they have something on him, right? They have some type of dirt that they're using to blackmail him. Again, I don't know that for sure. I have no proof of that. I'm just saying that based on the way he's just so pathetically making these excuses, you could see that as being maybe a possibility. Or secondly, it's because he has something to gain from a Kamala presidency and the Democrats, whether it's some type of government contract or they're going to work with his businesses or whatever it is. But I don't know. Again, that's just kind of my personal suspicion. Something about this whole relationship between Cuban and Kamala is just very strange, and you'll see that even more with this recent clip of his appearance on CNBC. Check it out.
Hey, Mark, I'm looking at an NBC article from our corporate parent that just says, I guess, at an Arizona town hall meeting, when you were asked about the possibility of taxing unrealized capital gains, you said if you really thought that the vice president would do that you'd campaign against her. So I guess that was a true comment you made. And then my follow-up
so what
question.
I said was, you know, I said it's not going to happen, absolutely not going to happen. If for some reason she lied about it, I would campaign against her so there wouldn't be a second term.
Okay. Then what I was going to ask you is, and I'm not going to go through, these are like, there's like 20 things, but I'll just pick out a couple that I think would be really scary. If she were to try to abolish the filibuster, if you knew she was going to do...
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Next.
And then how about free health care for all?
She doesn't talk about that. So here's exactly what she's talking about with health care.
But there were some things she has said. I can pick out probably 10 things where
Joe, I can go back to an interview.
You would say, yeah, I'd campaign against her. So what do you like?
Exactly. What do you like then? What is so great about Kamala Harris? Because it seems like every time you're actually cornered on her policies, it either comes down to one of two things. Either she's not really going to do that, which is just such a strange excuse. Like, yeah, she supports it, but she's not really going to do it, number one. Or number two, I just don't support that. Okay, so what exactly about Kamala is so great, Mark Cuban? What's so fantastic about her? Again, my suspicion is that there's some type of like government contract or something waiting for him if the Democrats win. But if that's not the case, because again, I don't know his actual motives. What is with this? And the whole thing is just so weird. It gets even weirder because when this same CNBC host asked him if he would be willing to work with or for the Trump administration if Trump wins, Mark Cuban said yes. So I'm not even making this up. He just, like I said, he just breaks my brain. It's very odd. It's very confusing. But take a listen.
Mark, we let you go on for a half hour. You're not. Maybe you will change someone's mind. I don't know. I've heard it all
Joe,
before.
I've sat there in meetings, and I know I have. I sat in a meeting in Phoenix. And I said, I don't want to talk. I tell the campaign, I don't want to talk to people who already are voting for Kamala. I want to talk to people who are thinking they're voting for Trump or undecided.
Well, maybe you're changing some minds today. I don't know. You look at Twitter. I mean, but the question I'll be respectful and kind to you, but people think you're.
Don't be, Joe. I don't need you to be respectful and kind to me. Be rude. I don't care. I'll take any question you throw at me. I don't care if people are yelling at me, screaming at me, calling me names. You know, Elon calls me a racist, a turd.
I think you must like it.
It's not that I like it. I know what's at stake.
Well, you must eat it up. If Trump's got a nose that's as long as a road, your skin, from what I see people say to you on Twitter, must be as thick as, you know, from Boston to L.A., Mark. And that's fine. Yeah, I mean, but you obviously enjoy what you're doing, and God bless you. You got $1 billion. You're still going to have a G650 after this election, so what the hell?
Yeah, you know, it's what's best for the country. That's what I care about. And look, let me just add, if Trump wins, last time when he won, he asked me to help on healthcare, on PPE. I sat with Peter Navarro and helped him come up with a mask company and help them grow. And that was all domestic production. I'll do the same thing. I'm America first. First, you know, that's the wrong way to put it. I am what's best for this country. Country over party, country over all.
So after all this anti-Trump deranged nonsense, after all you have done to support Kamala Harris, there's Mark Cuban casually putting out there, hey, if Trump wins, you know, I'll help the Trump administration as well. I mean, don't forget about me. The guy, this guy's just confused. I don't understand this guy at all. Okay, it makes no sense. He says you need to understand everything that's at stake. Trump is so bad, but if he calls me for a job, hey, I'm a Republican. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, but at least Mark Cuban casually had a Freudian slip at one of these recent events and admitted, really, I guess, what he actually is.
Oh, I just kind of wanted to know, like, the role you play as a businessman and as a father. What are you doing to sort of, I guess, close that gap? Is it talking to people like me and journalists and talking to young voters? I guess, where's your role in this?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a chameleon.
There you go. Okay, finally in 2024, Mark Cuban said something true. So everyone give him a round of applause. That is, you are a chameleon, okay? Absolutely the case. But the rest of it, I don't really know. And again, I honestly question the sincerity, because I think Mark Cuban is a much smarter guy than to look at the border crisis that was allowed under Biden-Harris. And the justification, the excuse you make for all of it is their hearts were too big. They just had too much compassion. I'm sorry. I genuinely kind of feel like he knows better than that, and it's an excuse for something. What is an excuse for? I have no idea. But last clip I'll show you in today's video. Apparently, Mark Cuban recently tried to facilitate a meeting between Kamala Harris and Elon Musk. But take a listen to what Kamala's team said and why they rejected it.
I'm a news guy. We all want the interview. I'd actually like her to see her do. No, I'd actually like to see her do X.
Literally, I've had the conversation. I've had the conversation with
I'd like to see her do X and have a conversation with Elon Musk. I actually think that that would actually be a fascinating
No, I'll tell you exactly what they, not Kamala specifically, but her team. I'm like, you know, I can try to facilitate a meeting with Elon, and they didn't trust the fact that he wouldn't go on X and just say something to distort the purpose of the meeting.
Yeah, okay. And apparently you think that's smart. Apparently you think that's a good strategic move. What would Kamala do if she is the president? Okay, because she's going to have to talk to Elon Musk, considering he basically runs the entirety of the United States space program. So, because NASA's a joke. So I don't know. But, you know, apparently Mark Cuban thinks that is perfectly okay. I'm just going to once again reiterate, if Kamala does somehow win, don't be surprised if there's some type of government contract just waiting there on the table for him, because that's what this screams, right? Let me give a bunch of money to Kamala. Let me get behind her, and the establishment will like me. The institutions will like me. And hey, maybe, you know, my businesses will do better. Or maybe he just has that kind of FU money, and so he wants to say FU to the ordinary person by supporting this political ticket. I don't know. Who knows? That said, ladies and gentlemen, though, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. What is going on with Mark Cuban? Why is Kamala's team putting him out there so much? What's with these strange excuses and justifications he's making for her? Because like it's a total brick wall, but it's also very confusing. I don't know. Be sure to leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you are new. And until next time, God bless and peace.